Hey.
Hey.
Come in. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. You just seem...
Nervous?
I was gonna say apprehensive.
Oh.
If you don't want to do this, we don't have to, Dee. I know meeting up at a seedy motel isn't necessarily ideal, but you were the one...
I know. I think Val may be...
Maybe what?
He asked about you.
That's not a shock. I've talked to him recently.
And?
And nothing. It was nothing.
You didn't mention...
I mentioned nothing, Dee.
Okay.
Hey, I got us drinks.
You went all out.
What? You think I should have just picked up some Bud Light?
I wouldn't have minded. What did you tell, what's her name?
Elena? She's, out of town for work.
Things going okay?
They're fine, yeah, but not sure if it'll turn into anything serious.
Oh. Ricky finished making the drinks and came over to me. I took a glass and swirled the contents.
Campari Spritz.
You didn't want to do just wine?
I was just trying to do something different. Something unique.
Right.
Good?
It is.
Good.
He leaned in for a kiss, but I slowly pulled back.
Oh,
Sorry.
Hey, Dee. If you don't want to do this, we don't have to. You know that, right?
No, I know.
I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable. I just like being with you.
I know.
Yeah?
I nodded.
Okay.
I took another sip of my drink, and Ricky did the same.
So, you're okay?
Yeah. I am. He leaned in again, and this time, I didn't pull back.
Seven Lamb Productions presents The Stone House, Episode 13.
I stood in the den, staring out the back window. Gavin was off at the edge of the woods, cutting down the smallest of the trees. I never went to sleep last night, but I wasn't all that tired now. I knew it would eventually catch up with me, but here I was instead, standing by the back window, thinking. I wanted to talk to Noah again, but all morning he was with Gavin. Until now. But before I went outside, I made for the kitchen. There weren't many utensils here. Would he notice? Regardless, I grabbed one of the knives. I went to my room and slid it under the mattress on the left side. I heard the front door and quickly went to the living room.
There she is. Where's the boy?
He went to the barn.
To do what?
Clean.
Aye. And what are you doing?
Just went to the bathroom. I'll go check on him now.
No need. He'll be fine. It ain't hot, but it's hard work.
Looks like it.
You were looking.
He smirked as he took a seat at the table, putting his feet up.
Maybe you could do us a favor and make the meals today, eh?
You want me to cook?
It's the least you could do. I got a lot to do today and won't have much time.
I made my way over to him and sat opposite. Okay, I'll cook.
Good. Good.
Is there anything else I can do? He looked at me, somewhat puzzled.
Nah, not right now, dear.
Okay, what should I make?
We don't have much, but sure you can think of something. There's rice, bread, eggs, potatoes.
Gavin, what happens when you run out of those things?
We make do. And with the garden...
Right, but the only thing growing right now are the potatoes and carrots, and there aren't many.
So?
So I want to make sure I don't use up all we have. In fact, what do you do when you run out of food?
Grow more.
But what about the rice and bread and things you can't grow?
I told you, dear. There's a boat with supplies. That's how I restock. I pay for those goods.
Right.
This about the boat again?
No.
'Cause I told you, dear, it'll get here when it gets here.
I understand. I wasn't pressing anymore. I wanted information, and the best way to do that was to be inquisitive but conversational. What about the chickens? Do they come on the boat too? Do they come with the other goods?
Sometimes. Why?
Because I noticed there weren't many in the barn. Maybe 12 or so? And we've eaten chicken twice now.
There'll be more.
Oh,
And if not, we'll eat steak.
right, but you only have so many cows.
But one will feed us for some time. Salt the meat and it'll keep.
Right.
Is that what you want? Something different? Steak?
No. Jesus, I couldn't butcher or help butcher a cow. I didn't even want chicken. But I wanted to know more about this place. Noah said this wasn't his dad. So who was this man? Was this really his island? Most of his answers were simple and vague. Do you ever get worried you'll run out of food?
No, never.
Oh, that's good. It's important for a place like this to be sustainable. You have your own food, you can get your own firewood, and you even have your own plumbing. How does that work?
The plumbing?
Yeah.
Have you never had plumbing, dear?
No, but out here, on this island.
It weren't easy, but I made it work. My father was a builder and he taught me a lot.
Did your father build this place?
No, he didn't.
Oh, okay. I was going to say it looked older.
It is.
How old is it? He pulled his feet down and leaned over the table.
Why all the questions, dear?
I'm just wondering how it all works.
How what all works?
How you live out here alone.
I'm not alone. My son lives here. My wife.
No, right. I know. I just meant...
Listen, dear. I have to get back out there and get us some firewood for tonight, if you want light and warmth.
Okay.
Have a meal ready when I'm finished. If you need help finding things, ask the boy.
I had searched both girls and the old man, but I didn't find much save for some nail clippers, gum, 2 dead phones, and chapstick. I felt gross reaching into the pockets of these people. It felt wrong, but I had to do it. I had pulled all the bodies out and lined them by the pool. I was exhausted, but I only had this man left. I checked his front pockets, shirt, and back pockets. I eventually found his wallet. There we go. If I couldn't find anything useful to use here, maybe I could at least get some clues to who these people were. But the man's wallet only had some change and cards. There was a small plastic picture holder, but all the pictures were ruined. Most of them deteriorated, the bits mashed against the plastic. I took out all the man's cards. I found his ID. Dan Atkinson. The man was 6'2", 43 years old, and from Liverpool. He also had 3 credit cards, insurance card, and some mushed up paper that may have been receipts or gift cards. It was hard to tell. Damn it. The man's wallet didn't provide much detail. I wondered if all these people knew each other or if they were all strangers. And why was the old man's body more bloated than the others? I knew nothing of body decomposition in water, so I had no idea how long any of these bodies had been down here. But I knew I was lucky enough to survive my tumble. When I inspected the young girl and old man, I found that the back of their heads were bashed and dented. But I didn't know if they were attacked like me or if they sustained those injuries during their fall. The middle-aged man and woman also had scratches and bruises and lacerations, but again, I wasn't sure how they got them. I dropped the wallet next to the body, along with all the cards. My stomach growled. I was starving. It was so bad that it hurt more and more with each passing day. Not only that, but my foot and leg were still swollen and purple past the break. The cane was nice, but I couldn't help but wonder if I would lose my leg. I had to think of something soon, otherwise I would die down here. And the longer I waited, the weaker I got.
After we ate, Gavin went back to the fallen tree to cut more firewood. I took Noah in the field into a small patch of dirt on the far side of the barn. We were playing with his trucks, hauling pebbles and dirt. Gavin enjoyed his meal of egg bread, toast, and rice, but I don't know how he didn't worry about food. There wasn't much bread left, and most of the vegetables in the garden had yet to grow. I tried asking Gavin some more questions about the island, but he wasn't having it. Instead of pushing, I decided to wait and see if I could get some time with Noah. And now I did. Hey, Noah. I know you don't like to talk, but I wanted to ask you some questions. His eyes became wide. I know that isn't your dad. But do you know who he is? He shook his head no. Where's your family, Noah? Are they here, on this island? But he just shrugged. How did you get here? He leaned to see past me. Gavin was in the distance, still chopping wood. Noah seemed to relax a bit and used his index finger to draw on the dirt. It was a simple drawing, easy to make out. A boat. Your whole family was on a boat? Was Gavin on your boat? He took a moment to think about it, then nodded. He was? But you don't know him? He shrugged. You didn't know him. He shook his head. Did your family? He shook his head again. It was so hard to communicate, and now I had to guess why. Noah was scared. Scared of Gavin. A stranger to him, apparently. Was the boat you were on yours, Noah? Your family's? It was. So you were on your boat with your family, but Gavin was too. He nodded. Did your family invite him? He shook his head. No. I took a moment to look back. Gavin was facing away toward the woods, his axe lodged in the bark as he drank from a large cup. You don't know where your family is now, right, Noah? He slowly shook his head. Could they be in danger? Or are they just somewhere else on the island? But he shook his head again, unknowing. Right. Okay, well, you came on a boat, right? So, do you know where your boat is? It has to be here somewhere, right? Do you know where it is, Noah? He nodded slowly and again used his index finger to draw on the dirt. This time, just a wavy line over the already drawn boat. I craned my neck to see it from his view, and that's when I realized. He drew water. Waves. It's under the water? It sank?
Mm-hmm.
How? He slowly pointed to Gavin. He sunk your boat? Why would he do that? But Noah didn't answer. While I was glad I was getting something out of him, it was still frustrating because it wasn't easy. And I was still so confused. Okay, so you were on a boat with your family. Gavin came on the boat and he sunk it. Here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you came here with your family, but Gavin sunk your boat. Was your family on the boat?
Mm-mm.
They weren't, so they were on this island? He nodded. So your family was on the island, but then Gavin sunk it. He kept nodding. Well, then what happened to your family? His jaw tightened, and his lips began to quiver. Did Gavin do something to them? Did he hurt them, Noah? That's when his eyes got big, and he instantly grabbed a truck and smashed it into his drawing. That's when I heard Gavin. I spun around to see him walking up with the axe resting on his shoulder. He was covered in sweat.
Playtime's over, boy. I need you to help me with the wood.
Noah quickly stood and ran past him, towards the woodpile at the far end of the field.
What is it, dear?
What is what?
You're pale. Look like you seen a ghost.
No, I was just playing with Noah, but I think I'm just exhausted, is all.
Aye. Well, now the boy needs to help me.
Right, is there anything I can do?
There's plenty you can do. But for now, why don't you just rest? You look tired. So very tired.
He was right, I was. I couldn't sleep. And now, learning more about Gavin and Noah's family, I knew it would be harder than ever. The wind was loud tonight. I lay in bed thinking. Noah didn't know Gavin, but he was on his boat, and he sank it? How? Why? I wanted to ask more, but Gavin was never that far away for the rest of the night. My mind continued to race, but I could feel my eyes slowly closing. No. Don't. Sleep was eluding me, and now, early in the chilly morning, I was having trouble keeping my eyes open. Eventually, I would succumb to sleep. I knew that. I reached under the bed, feeling the handle of the knife. Good. Okay. Whatever Gavin did to Noah's family, or to Val, he won't do to you. You can't let him. I rolled back over on my back, and in a matter of seconds, I was out. My eyes fluttered open. I had fallen asleep. What time was it? I could see the moonlight out the window. It was still dark out. Suddenly I froze. I felt movement on my bed. I turned my head slightly, hoping to see Noah. But no.
Dear?
Oh my God. He was in my room, sitting at the foot of my bed. He had his face in his hands.
Dear?
Yes? He looked over to me, half his face covered in shadow.
Your questions today, they make me wonder. You're not happy. We don't have much, but I can't give you any more than I already have. Yet the questions make me think that something's wrong. And I hope that it's not what I think it is, because I remember how you treated me before. I remember what you did.
When he turned away, I slowly slid my arm up. I wanted the knife. I needed the knife.
Do you remember?
He slowly leaned down to the floor and brought up the knife. The one that was under my mattress. Oh God. He found it.
Do you remember?
No.
Well, I do. You were unfaithful, Nadia. I saw you. I saw you in the park. I saw you at the pub. I saw you time and time again. You're with him. You know how much that hurt?
He spun the knife in his hand, gazing at it as if it was this new important object he had just discovered.
You hurt me, dear. You hurt me so. I tried to forgive you, but it was hard. But now, here, I've tried again. But then you go and ask your questions. You don't trust me, yet it was you. You were the backstabber. Ain't that right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You do. I know you do. You stabbed me in the back, dear.
He turned to face me again, this time holding up the knife, pointing it at me.
You stabbed me in the back, but I forgave you. I forgave you for Noah. For our family.
He looked to the knife, then back to me.
You won't be needing this, dear.
I said nothing, did nothing. I just watched him. He slowly stood and looked out the window for a moment.
I keep giving you chances, dear. Don't disappoint me again.
He lowered the knife and made for the door.
Good night, Nadia.
The Stone House. Written and edited by Robert M. Lamb. Starring Corey Pettit as Delilah, Robert M. Lamb as Val, Jack Austin as Gavin. Co-starring Dennis Caldwell. Music provided by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com. If you enjoy this podcast, don't forget to rate and review. Visit 7lamb.com for more podcasts such as this.
This has been a Seven Lamb production.